Hi Bongen, how are you? I hope you are fine and Blawayo is okay. Um, I I was made to believe that you were in Blawayo when you started this course, so I still believe that you are there by now. Okay, now in this video, I just want to explain the two questions which you requested help on. However, I also discovered that question number one could be a challenge to you on this recap, or I mean, on this redo assignment. So, before you do the assignment, I just want you to understand what question number one was all about. It was asking you for potential advantages of decentralization. So you were given four choices and you were supposed to pick a choice that explains the potential advantage of decentralization. But for you to pass this particular question, you need to understand what decentralization is all about. Decentralization is all about delegating power to subunits. Okay, the organization with a decentralization policy does not control everything from the head office. It gives lower level managers some discretion to exercise authority. So, in a decentralized organization, we are seeing a culture where the subordinates also have got something to say. Unlike in a centralized structure or organizational structure where we have got only the head office having the powers to make decisions. So you need to think along those lines for you to pass question number one. I'm not going to tell you the answer, but you need to think of the advantages and disadvantages of decentralization. Okay? So when we have a situation where subordinates are also given power to exercise authority or to make decisions in the jurisdictions in which they operate from, then we are going to see a culture where local offices have got power to say something. Okay, so that was a tip for you to answer that question. That was a tip. So when you answer question number one, think of the advantages where we have got, for example, think of police force where there is a headquarter in Harare and some provincial offices in various provinces of the country. So those provincial offices have got some power to decide on what to do and so forth. Like for example, when these political parties want uh, to hold a rally, they don't apply to the head office of the police force, but they apply through their district offices, the police districts. Those districts have got the power to grant those political parties the right to hold a rally. Okay, so you are then being asked to determine the advantage of such a setup. Okay, what are the advantages from the options given? So you need to think along those lines. Now, as for the question you specifically requested help on, one of that was question number three. Um, the question was saying, which of the following personnel in an organization would not be involved in the sale of goods on credit? Here again, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but I want to give you a tip on how to arrive at the answer. Okay, so when we talk of selling goods on credit, we are simply talking of the same selling exercise. So you need to understand the value chain of selling goods on credit. You need to understand which offices or which people participate in this particular value chain. Okay, when we are selling goods, obvious we need a salesperson to be around. Okay, would need people from the stores. Okay, people who work in the warehouse. They also participate in that particular value chain. Now we are selling goods on credit, so we also don't want to run a risk of selling goods to people who are not going to be able to pay us the money. So we would want the services of a credit controller to be available. Okay, because these are the guys who tell us if Mr. So and so or Mrs. So and so are capable of paying us back if we give them goods on credit. Are they going to be to pay us the amount owing? Okay, so for risk management purposes, we would need credit officers, people who tell us if individual customers are credit worthy, are worth of being given the credit right. So you need to think along those lines for you to be able to arrive at the right answer. But the question that then comes to you is, do we need the services of the accountant in such a setup? Um, do we need people who manage our ledgers, the accounting assistants, so forth? Do we need them if we want to sell goods on credit? Are they needed? So that's a question for you to answer. Then let's go to question number 8. Question number 8 was a very, very, very tricky question, a typical exam question, which I wanted you to be accustomed to in the nick of time. Okay, I didn't want you to be shocked on exam day, so I wanted you to get used to such question types. Okay, the question was, what is the double entry for the following in an integrated account system? Now, what is an integrated account system? An integrated account system is a system whereby the cost accounting as well as financial accounting systems are merged or operate as one system. Okay, they operate as one system. All right, so we have got the manufacturing part as well as the trading part of the financial system operating together. So you are given two situations there, or two accounting entries, or let me just say accounting transactions. The first transaction was production overhead absorbed in the cost of production. How are you going to record that in the accounting system? What was the double entry? Okay, what was the double entry bookkeeping system? Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, sorry. I was attending to something. All right. Now, let me just try to illustrate this part with some form of drawings. Okay. Now we are talking of the integrated accounting system, and like I said, it is a combination of both the costing system and the financial accounting system. Okay, so we need to understand first what happens. Now, there is, let me just draw some boxes. Okay, I'm sure you're seeing these 4 boxes, okay? And these boxes are of a process. The first process is when we put raw materials, in stage A, okay, or in department A. All right, these are raw materials. Let me just say raw materials. All right, raw materials, they are input in stage A of the production process. Okay, when they are input there, we have incurred the cost of materials. Okay, all right. Now, in stage A, that's we are still converting the materials into finished goods. Okay, so when we enter or when we incur the cost of materials, all right, we are going to debit what is called work in progress. Why are we debiting work in progress? Okay, debit DR. Why are we debiting work in progress? This is because we are receiving, okay, we are receiving the cost of materials. Remember, work in progress is an asset, okay, or it is an expense. Think of those either way. So an expense is increased by debiting, or the work in progress inventory is also increased by debiting. All right, so we debit the receiver and credit the giver. So in this case, we debit work in progress. Okay, we debit work in progress and credit something. I want you to tell me, what are we crediting if we are debiting work in progress, because it is the one that is receiving. It is the account that is receiving something. It is being increased because the moment we input raw materials, we are increasing work in progress, or we are increasing the work in progress inventories. Okay, so we are debiting the work in progress account. But what are we crediting? Because remember, the principles of double entry says whenever there is a debit entry, there should be a corresponding credit entry. Okay, so in this case, we debit work in progress, but we also have to credit something. So on the choices there was something that was supposed to be credited, and this, I guess, was a production overhead account. Okay, you need to credit production overhead account. All right, sorry, my pen is not writing clearly. All right, my phone is not that responsive. I'm using a phone. All right, so we debit work in progress account or work in progress control account and credit production overhead account. All right, now this was stage A. All right, now it doesn't matter the number of the process can be repeated if the raw materials are then received in B as raw materials again. Still would just do the same double entry. However, let us say now we are now moving from A to B. Let us say the last box there is B. Okay, doesn't matter. This is a B. The last box, let me just say, it's a B. All right. So B is a stage where we have completed everything. All right. The work in progress has been completed, and we now have a finished product. So this is now transaction number 2, which says completed work transferred from the production process to inventory. What is going to happen now? This now becomes easier. Why? Because we are taking from A to B. From A to B. Now, in A, we had debited work in progress and credited production overhead account. This time now, we are now going to debit the receiver, which is B. But which account is receiving? This is the finished goods account. So in this case now, we are going to debit inventory control account, okay, or debit finished goods control account, inventory or finished goods control account, and credit something. What are we crediting? Obviously, we are going to credit the work in progress. Okay, so we credit the work in progress. Remember, the work in progress was the account which was having the raw materials. Now, this is the same account that is now uh, converted the raw materials into finished goods. So it is no longer having those items. The items are now moving to another account. So it is the items are leaving the work in progress account. All right. So because the items are leaving the work in progress account, we credit the giver. So this account is now giving the items to the finished goods control account. So this is why we are debiting the finished goods control account, that is the inventory account, and crediting the work in progress account. So that was the trick there. Okay, so you need to tick those boxes accordingly, and I want to expect you ticking those boxes in a proper manner when you resubmit your assignment. Okay, so I hope you have been helped by this presentation. All right, um, I've explained everything there. So please enjoy your studies. Until next time, may the good Lord continue to bless you. Have a good day. Bye.